Welcome to the 13th devlog video for Above the Fold, a newspaper simulation game in the making. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about this time. First of all, if you've seen this before, you'll notice a new button, which is this one, Continue Game. That's, of course, is a big step forward. You can actually load the game now, and it's almost working. You can try it. This is issue 2, so I did just do a little test where I just published one issue, and I got to issue number 2, and then I quit the game, because once you get to this screen, the office screen, the game will automatically save. I have added subscriber data and finances that are newspaper-wide, so it is not based on the current issue or the last issue. So this panel on the left here is all about the last issue that you published and stats for that issue, whereas the middle panels are about your newspaper as a whole. So, of course, at the beginning of the game, most of these values are randomized, but as you play, for example, this last issue here was 63% conservative in its political slant, whereas my subscriber base is 55% liberal. So if I keep pushing out conservative publications, my new subscribers that I get will primarily be conservative, and thus my base as a whole will gradually shift to a more conservative. And the same goes for age groups. Finally, the finances are still very much a work in progress, but the numbers are real in the sense that they are all actual calculated numbers, and at the first of every month in the game, all of your expenses are deducted from your cash, and you get, of course, all of your income, and you'll get, this is the monthly balance. So right now I am bleeding $3,252 a month. Of course, that number will go down as I attract more subscribers and advertisers, which is still not in the game. So that is a quick rundown of what's new on this screen. I'll start a new day. I think this button is also new. Skip to deadline. But what's definitely new is what's right below it, the news ticker. And I'll talk more about the news ticker here in a bit. First, I just want to point out the little emoji here. The emoji next to each of your reporters shows their mood. Each emoji is like for every 20 points, it gets a little happier looking. So this is the best one. So Frank B. Sawyer here, he is a pretty happy dude. We'll try to give him one of his favorite articles. And if you assign articles that they like to write, in this case entertainment or climate, then they will gradually get happier and happier. Here's a big one for climate, so we'll give that to him. It wasn't enough to change his mood just yet, so they only, I think, get like 1 point of happiness per article. So it's like a long-term thing. You can still speed up the game. You'll actually notice that the news ticker at the bottom also speeds up time. And you can slow it back down should you need a little more time to find suitable stories for your reporters. In this case, Lynn Santana. She wants to write about history or economy. So I can go hunting for something like that. Or if I'm chasing a specific age group or whatever, I can go for news that I know typically appeal to that age. This is just a good story. Level 3 story, over 5,000 words and 4 stars. So I'm just going to give her that story. That way she has something in case time runs out before I find a good history or economy story for her to write. There's also another reporter for hire. He likes to write about economy and fashion. And I'm already bleeding $3,200 per month, so I'm not going to hire another one. But if you run out of cash, you will get fired as the editor, and it'll be game over, essentially. So it's something that you'll want to try to avoid. All right, so we reached the deadline. Unfortunately, only 2 stories were done. I didn't look carefully enough on the detail cards, or I would have noticed that some of the stories that I assigned were going to take more than 1 day to write. And so we end up here with not very much content. just these 2 articles, and it spreads out mostly to be for children. Let's see if we can fix that. I'd rather not have it be mostly for children. So by moving this to a lower position, I actually lowered the percentage of children influenced by this issue as a whole, because focus, of course, is more on the article at the top. We're going to go to print now, and then we're back at the office. This is a summary of the issue we just created, and as you can see, content mostly appealed to child readers with 38%, and followed by middle-aged readers with 21%. And then, of course, we look over here and subscriber data and see that overall children is just 6% of our subscriber base, not surprisingly. So that was probably not the most sort of relevant issue to our subscribers as a whole. We can also look at the political bias. 84%, that's really bad. It also says right here, actually, this issue reads as a predominantly conservative publication. And our subscribers are unhappy with the political bias of this issue. That is pretty much it. And then I hit next, and I, of course, have a crash, because it's still very much a game in development and a game that is in pre-alpha, so there's lots of stuff that doesn't work. But I wanted to quickly talk about the ticker. All right, so you'll see here the new ticker comes in, and because it's a brand new game, it starts with a scripted message which says, the Business Guardian is saved by an anonymous new owner. So that sort of sets the stage. To keep it sort of populated with stuff, if there's nothing new to report, it will, in this case, actually, it's saying that the Business Guardian resonates with readers ages 30 to 45, and that ties in with how our subscriber base is spread out age group wise. So it's sort of like a message from our subscriber base saying, hey, you're doing really well with this group, and that'll tie in with quests and stuff later. It also fills in using this script here, gameplay tips. It can also put together random little headlines, such as like just one of each of these, sort of like reporters argue over media policy, for example, right? So it just puts together 3 random of these and puts it in the news ticker. And finally, it can pull, using this script here, an update or a news ticker item from the web. And when I say from the web, I mean that I have on my own web server a text file, basically, with some strings in it that the game downloads when you first start it up. And there's a small chance that one of those will appear on your news ticker. It'll only appear once. If you miss it, you miss it. And I try to make these, I'll want to try to make them a little bit, sort of current and funny and maybe satirical. That particular little feature is totally inspired by the awesome game Plague Inc. If you are not familiar with that, definitely check it out. It's on every platform, I think. So, really great game. And I decided to sort of borrow that little feature. But again, the news ticker is a small detail. I think small details do add a lot in terms of flavor and game experience. But at the end of the day, it's a non-essential part of the game. So thank you for sticking with it. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving me a thumbs up, maybe sharing it with your friends to show what an awesome game this might be. You can also go to abovethefoldgame.com and sign up for email notifications for whenever there's major news. Thank you once again so much for watching and following the development of Above the Fold.